All right, good afternoon, traders. Welcome to probably the shortest live stream that will be on this channel, or is probably on most channels. I actually sat down to record an answer, or to record several answers to some of the really good questions that I've been getting on some of the videos. And so I am just about to start live streaming like my setups every day, all of my chart areas of interest and what my charts look like each morning. I'm not starting to call signals or anything like that, but I am going to share my trading day and how I am set everything up, when I'm sitting down to trade. So I just thought, well, instead of actually recording a video here on my computer for you, that I would just go into a very quick live stream and just make sure that kind of all the settings are working and go back and review it when I'm actually just answering a question and not trying to share technical up to the minute information of where my zones are and where I might be looking to take trades and where my price points of interest are. So what I am doing right now, as you can kind of tell from the title, one of the really, really good questions that I got from my video on the pullback trading, actually on the entry for pullbacks, which is what I trade. I trade previously established retracement zones or previously established pullback zones. And I got this really great question from Ken, and he says, hi, can anyone explain which candle she is drawing her zone from? I've noticed that she is using bear candles and bull candles in an uptrend to draw her zones. Thanks. And I just thought that was an excellent question. I do have several videos coming up answering several really, really good questions. I try to pay attention to that and let this channel really be driven by responses to what y'all are asking and what my clients or memberships are asking. And so I thought that I would again pop on real quick and let you know. Now I have, I think, 7 videos in the advanced course. This is element 2 in the advanced course. My very first element is time frames, and my second most important element in my strategy is zones. And I spend 7 videos on zones. So I have several rules that are in there, really apart from just how I draw them. But with that said, coming in and just kind of sharing what I'm looking at and why I draw the zones the way I do. So if you're looking at here, I'm on the Euro Yen and just kind of zooming in on an uptrend. I am only interested when I'm drawing zones in the pullbacks. I'm only interested when I'm trading in the pullbacks. And so when price is trending, obviously, when a pair has price moving in either to the upside or pushing to the downside, I am interested in when price is trending where it's pulling back. But secondly, and part of what even brings my win rates and some of the ways that I'm trading into the higher numbers that I do run, is that I don't just trade a pullback. Just because price pulls back means nothing to me, except that it's where I draw an area of interest. So I don't even look to take a trade unless an area has been established on my trading time frame. I have the confluence of a higher time frame bias agreement. I have the zone established on my trading time frame, and then I do drop down to my entry time frame and begin drawing the same zones in the same bias in that direction. You can see that on the video that was referencing the entries to pullbacks. And so when I'm drawing those pullbacks, though, I do not, and this is the answer to that question, is I do not differentiate between the candle that I'm drawing on being bullish or bearish when I'm drawing my zone. Now, I do differentiate when I'm actually pulling the trigger to execute a trade and enter a trade, I want my candle to close in my bias. So if I'm looking to go long on a pair, I want that candle to close bullish on my entry. So I only enter off of candle closes or just a couple of seconds. If I'm entering on the 5-minute candle, I might wait 30 seconds or a minute just to see how that candle in the beginning is forming, possibly a bottom or top wick, just depending on which direction it's going, and kind of watch the candle, although that's no indication to how it's going to play out. But I enter on candle close, and so I do have, again, rules around entry, but I do not have rules on it has to be bullish or bearish when I draw the zone. What I am interested in, the big part that I am interested in, is that when I'm drawing a zone, that I'm trying to capture the entirety of my zone. And so if I'm in an uptrend, I am trying to capture that bottom wick of the pullback. And I think if we're looking right here, that we all agree that we see price push up. You know what? Hang on 2 seconds. Let me try and change that really quick so that you can see it a little bit better. Let's see. So we see price push up and pull back. So we have a pullback zone here. Price pushes up, pulls back, pushes up, pulls back, pushes up, pulls back, and again, before it goes to the upside. So through that, there are several opportunities for us to draw pullback zones. Now, I know this bottom is, we don't trade tops and bottoms. I'm not worried about this, even though on the hourly, this is going to be a pullback probably on some time frame. However, I'm just going to be interested right now in this example in this small area, just pushing to the upside right now. And so if I look where price pushes up and pulls back right here, technically, I think that we can all agree that this bearish candle closes lower than the previous candle did. And so this is where price pulled back. And so I would be using this as my base candle. It is usually, I have the rule, let me pull my slide real quick. I think it's number, let's see, 19, sorry. I have the rule where every single, this is a slide from the advanced course. So every single pullback, and sorry, I pulled the one going to the downside, but every single pullback has a base candle or a base that I use to establish where my zone is drawn. Now, most of the bases in this particular slide, I had not introduced all of the rules yet. So I was just introducing the rule that it's usually the last up candle when you're in a downtrend, the last down candle when you're uptrend. But I will tell you, and I'm about to show you, I introduce a rule right after this where it is that last candle, but I also want to get in and capture that upper wick. So the entire zone would not only encompass the candle before, but that upper wick. And so could you technically draw this zone right here, just capturing that bearish candle, this bearish push right here? Yes, you could. When I technically am looking at my zones, I'm looking at that last candle, but also I want that upper wick. Same right here, price pushes down, pulls back. It's that last candle, and I want to capture that upper wick. So if the last candle before the push is bearish, but the next candle is bullish, but the next candle is bearish, I would choose to use that bearish candle because I just want to capture that upper wick. And if it encompasses the candle before that is bullish, that's fine. I don't have a rule. I don't care really how that candle closes. What I care about is that it captures the upper part of that pullback where orders were executed enough to have where price was experiencing buying or selling pressure in a pullback where price stopped and then reversed to the downside, preferably into an impulse. And so we want to look at price leaving that zone, leaving the area, and then coming back to a pullback. And we would all agree right here, that's very clear. You're seeing this pullback, and so here's your base candle. price pushes down, you're seeing the pullback, and you're looking at your base candle again. In this case, you're looking at a downtrend, but I have a bullish candle that is encompassed because it is that upper wick. And so that is just, again, in my rules, I don't necessarily differentiate between which one. It has to be, I want that upper wick. And the same thing if going, let me see, that was the downtrend. And if we're going to the upside, let's see. You can see that one real quick. And again, this was just from the advanced course. It's just really, really clear how I use. So when I'm drawing my zones, you don't see that I'm identifying a base candle or the base for that zone, because it's not always an entire candle. Sometimes if it's a huge institutional candle, sometimes I'll drill down into a lower time frame to capture, again, that wick. I want the base of that pullback where orders were executed, where they were found to create that change in direction, even though it was back to our original bias. So again, right here, price pushes up and has a clear pullback. This is a bearish candle that I'm using for the bullish push. This right here is a bearish pin bar. Different people have different rules with that. This pullback right here, I am actually encompassing the entire bearish candle right here. There is a bullish pin bar right before that. It doesn't hold that entire zone right here. Price pushes up again. It is encompassing that entire bearish pin bar right there. Same thing here, price pushing up. And so I have certain rules of how I want to capture the zone versus any kind of differentiation of if it's a bullish or bearish candle. Because honestly, depending on what time frame you're looking at, I could drop down now right here to the 15-minute, say, and I may only be looking at a zone where I'm just capturing this bottom portion right here and not really looking at, if I'm really honing in on where that retracement area is or how big that candle is. You don't know necessarily on that time frame. This is my trading time frame though, and so I say, we're not looking at the lower time frames right now. We're just looking at where are we drawing the pullbacks. We would all agree that this candle right here is a pullback. Price leaves the zone in the very next candle and comes back in, and now this is also a pullback right here, and I would use this exact candle right here, and we see price left and came back and retested that. In the meantime, you have price pushing up, pulling back, pushing up, pulling back. This right here would also be a pullback, and I would use this bearish candle with the entire wick, and that would be my pullback zone that I would be looking for a retest. I never, ever, ever just enter just because I drew a zone. And I never enter just because price comes back and touches that zone. There are many rules around the zones, but I am interested in capturing where price has reacted, where orders sit. Going up a little higher right here on the upside, we're looking at price coming up and pulling back, and I would use this bearish pin bar right here. I'm sorry, bullish pin bar. Even though it closed bearish, I don't care. This is the pullback. This is the zone. Price pulled up, pushed out of that zone, broke structure twice, came back and retested, and left, came back and retested again, pushed up, broke structure again to the upside before coming back to retest that zone. And so for me, I already know I can see on a lower time frame, I would have gotten a little bit of an early entry in here. It doesn't look like I would have gotten stopped out at all. My stop loss would have been either in this zone or below it for my refined zones. And so any of my pullbacks, again, are not based on whether it's a bullish or bearish candle. I want to capture the origination of that zone, and it is all about capturing that entire end part of the move. Again, the bottoms if you're going up, or the tops if you're going down to the downside, and looking at previously established retracement zone. So when price comes back to retest this zone, is at that time I want to drop down to the 5-minute and watch what is happening on the 5-minute. I want to see structure being broken. I want to see new buy zones, new demand zones being formed. And that's what I'm going to base part of my entry off of. Now, I also have multiple different confluences that I use to give confirmation to my entries, but zones are the life force of my strategy. And like I said, there's a lot of rules that I have around the zones, but the basics are that to answer this question, that yeah, you're definitely gonna see where I'm maybe encompassing all of one of a bearish or bullish candle, but it's really just because I'm trying to capture that entire pullback. And so I'm looking at that bottom, and if just in case there's a bullish or a bearish candle that you're used to seeing, a lot of other traders have strict rules. That's what works for their strategy. I already know that I don't use the same rules as supply and demand, even though I freaking love supply and demand, and a lot of what I'm doing is based on that. But over the years, I have put in confluences and studied so many different styles of trading. There's not just one style that I'm studying and that I have going. And so what you're going to find is, yeah, it's probably not just one type of candle that you're going to see me, kind of using and have my zones being drawn off of. So that hopefully answers your question, Ken. Thank you so much. And I just noticed Satoshi said, love you too. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm looking though now. I've just been talking. I don't know if on YouTube it's been recording the live stream, so this may just be an audio that y'all are hearing, or it may be something, that's just being seen on my screen where it's just not picking up, or it's just not keeping up with the stream. So whichever, I enjoyed it and we'll get used to it. But what I am looking to do, like I said, is to start live streaming my setups in the morning and taking questions and just trying to help y'all get established. We are a family of 3 full-time traders and absolutely love trading. We have invested so much time and money in this, and I knew before I started trading that I was going to teach trading. I had 2 children graduating high school, and that was part of the reason that I stepped into this trading journey, one of them being autistic. And so I wanted some way, even if it was challenging, that he could support himself and that ticked all of the boxes of how he needed to live. And so I think anybody can trade. I do not think it's easy, but I think anybody can do it. And I just know that anybody watching this or anybody that's interested in it absolutely can trade, and I'm excited for you for the journey. So anyway, there's your question, your answer for this question. I have several others that will be being uploaded, and I enjoyed the live stream, and so I'll start again doing more of those. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.